Someone points out that like celebrities are 1% of the population, and apparently trans people are 1% of the population. So how is like 90% of the trans people in celebrity families?
Yeah. We'll have to check that exact stat. But we see the ones where it happens. But how was it that 90% of adopted children from Africa 15 years ago were in celebrity families as well? Angelina Jolie, Madonna, and all of that. It just seems to be another fashion.
Yeah, it's like a handbag, you know.
But I imagine they're not sitting there going, "Look at me with my handbag, adopted kid." They're sitting there going, "God, I'm a great person," as they are with the trans thing. So I think it's the ideology settles in, and then they go, you know, I'm a famous celebrity. I already have everything, but I also need to be seen as morally more virtuous than everyone else, which is just so greedy. And now I'm going to do all this other mad trans and adopting kids from Africa.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I look at it, the parents of so-called trans kids. I look at it as them trying to start a new aristocracy. You know, where there's a phrase, nepo babies. Do you know that phrase? Nepotism. Nepo babies. And you know, I remember being shocked that the Strokes, who I loved, had parents who were in modeling and stuff like that, and really annoyed me. I thought, so they got all that rehearsal space free and stuff like that.
You start to see it everywhere, though.
You do, and it took it away from it a little bit. But
my hero was Louis Theroux growing up, and I didn't realise.
Oh, Paul Theroux, yeah, but I didn't hold out against him. Nepo baby is
No, sorry, go on.
But nepo baby is a kind of one of these memes that is spread around. I think if you have talent, you have talent, and there's so many incredible families who've produced incredible artists. The Fondas, for example, and loads more. You know, no one could say, for instance, that Jane Fonda didn't deserve the career she had. You know, but with the Strokes, I was annoyed for a sec, but then I put on This Is It again, and for me, it's a masterpiece. It's an absolutely wonderful album. Everything I loved rock music for, why I listened to rock music. So, you know, you look back and you think, well, he can sing, he can write songs, they all can play. That's enough for me. But now we have these kids who want to be kind of decreed as special and are somewhat famous, sometimes as famous as their parents, like Jamie Lee Curtis's.
That's who I meant, who was in the horror film.
Yeah, right. That's her. Jamie Lee Curtis's kid, who's not trans, who's just like one of the many young men who just watch too much porn, you know?
Okay.
And like, you know, you have these people and they're just kind of saying, I am special by virtue of just being special, you know? Not talent, nothing, not creating anything. I'm just special, and you're going to have to accept that. And if you don't accept that, we'll try and cost you your job.
Yeah.
You know?
At least Brooklyn Beckham just made a cookbook. I mean, and that pissed off the cooks, right? The chefs.
Yeah.
And his photography as well. He did a photography book before that. Pissed off the photographers.
Yeah. Was any of it any good? Any of the recipes any good?
I didn't. I didn't try them.
That's the proof, I guess.
How bad can it be, though?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have thought Brooklyn Beckham would have gone off on his own without publisher input and just gone, tomatoes, put that with a banana.
Yeah.
Here we go. It must have been, and I bet David seems like a cook. I bet a few people went, oh, here we go. No, and it must be all right.
Yeah.
You can get Brooklyn Beckham. We'll have a link below for Brooklyn Beckham's cookbook. We won't.
He needs all the help he can get.
He really does need all the help. No, you're right. The celebrity angle is really frustrating. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Right?
Do.
Not trans, I imagine.
No.
How is that? Maybe you don't want to talk about them, do you?
I can't talk about them too much, but all I'll say is very close to them. They're both doing really well. I'm really proud of them. They understand the issue. That's all I'll say.
Okay, and then also, you are a celebrity, particularly in Ireland if you're walking around, I imagine. Well, that's an interesting point in itself, because I always want to ask about celebrity, and I will in a minute, but I don't want to go too off the topic. But is there something in kids who've grown up with a celebrity parent where there is an extra bit of like, I need to do something special and interesting?
Well, that's so interesting, because Lena Dunham's sister is trans. So you have Lena Dunham, who's like the voice of a generation.
Yes.
Is being lauded everywhere, is getting Vogue covers or whatever. You know, people, their siblings are obviously going to go, well, I'm good too. I'm interesting. And sometimes they aren't interesting enough to get on a cover or something like that. So they say they're trans and get a little bit of attention that's been just poured onto her sister, You know, I mean, it's understandable in a way, but it's such a dangerous thing because these celebrity parents. I pointed this out recently in Tennant. Tennant doesn't say his kid is trans. Tennant says David Tennant. Tennant says his kid is non-binary. Now, non-binary is the celebrity trans identity of choice because you literally don't have to do anything. Yeah. You know, the girls have to get a short haircut, apparently. That means they're non-binary. But the boys don't have to do anything. They just have to say it, you know? So you have a category they have self-diagnosed themselves into. And you just have to kind of accept it. That
the Eurovision couple, were they Irish or Icelandic? I can't remember.
They were Irish, yeah.
And they hated Israel. That was the
They're
whole
married.
Thing. Just a married couple.
Non-binary married couple.
How fucking offensive.
She's queer.
To people who fought for years for gay rights, for the dignity and the possibility to marry, for civil rights, to now be like, okay, and this couple who dress like a vampire or whatever and scream about Israel, they're now part of my umbrella here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. And that's what it is. Non-binary is again, I mean, the whole movement is privileged, but non-binary is really the favorite tag of privileged the children of privileged parents. And what it means with Tennant is that Tennant will never bring his child down to his credit, down to a surgery and get his penis chopped off. But a lot of trans parents of trans kids are doing that, you know?
Well, unless the kid did one day say, you know what, I started off as non-binary, but now I want my willy off.
Well, you know, I mean, that I would imagine that he is going to be sheltered from that and he is going to be protected from that. And in a few years, he will just walk away from it and be completely comfortable in his millionaire's life, you know, son of a millionaire's life. But there's kids who are going into surgeries right now. They're getting double mastectomies. They're taking hormones that are going to cut their life expectancy down severely. I mean, the other day, this is an example of what David Tennant's son will never face. The other day, we've noticed that girls who have cut off their breasts and always appear in social media posts just after the operation, still high on morphine and delighted that they finally got what they think they wanted, which is their breasts removed. Yeah. And they're smiling with their surgeon who just happily did this to them, you know? And we've noticed in a lot of photographs, there are self-harming scars on all the girls' arms. Yesterday, I saw a photograph, and apparently it's not the only one, of in a phalloplasty, what they do is they take a section of your arm like it's a roll of turf. Mm-hmm. They take it off your arm so that you're left with a wrist that looks like you're wearing a Mickey Mouse glove at the end of it. So thin, it looks like you're wearing a Mickey Mouse glove. And they roll the arm of the flesh into the shape of a penis and attach it to the girl's front. And it looks like one of those kind of grotesque German sausages, a huge one. It has no distinguish. It's smooth it's the skin on the arm.
I think they put it in through your thigh and put it out through the hole they just made.
Is that what they do?
I
think. Christ. Anyway, this particular one, which the person, I guess, who owned it took a photograph of, had the self-harming scars on the penis.
My God.
Yeah. Isn't that unbelievable?